Hi everyone, it's Claire Jarvis at Restore Fitness Therapies, and in this video I want to tackle a question which comes around quite a lot from our members, which is how do I know when I'm ready to move up a level? Because most people are really keen to progress their practice, which is fantastic. Now at Restore Fitness Therapies we run classes by ability, so we have classes for beginners, intermediates and advanced people, but we also run mixed ability classes, and within those sessions the instructor will always offer a number of options for every movement, every exercise, every stretch, to make sure that everybody in the class is catered for no matter what their level. So whatever class you're in though, you may still have that question of am I working at the right level, am I selecting the right options, do I need to be in the different class or am I actually in the right place? And it can be quite difficult to tell sometimes. Now, basically, you are the best placed person to know whether or not you're working at the right level. But the only way you can make that judgment is by developing that deep mind-body connection, which we often talk about when you're really feeling the movement and you hit that really sweet spot where it feels like everything's flowing nicely, everything feels under control, it feels strong, powerful, but it also feels coordinated and flowing at the same time. So if you're already an intermediate sort of person, you'll probably already be starting to get into that zone where you just know that you're doing something correctly because it just feels right within your body. But that isn't the case for everybody. Some people it takes a little bit longer to develop that skill. And if you are a beginner, you might find it a lot more difficult. You might not be in that place yet, and that's absolutely fine. But a couple of the ways you can check for yourself whether or not you're working at the right level are to ask yourself at the end of an exercise, do I feel like I could have done more there? Because often we'll do the number of repetitions suggested by the instructor, but you might finish up and think, yeah, I feel okay, but I've got a bit more energy in the tank. I feel like I could have done a little bit more. The second thing to ask yourself is, what kind of speed was I working at? Often we're quite inclined to rush our exercises just because we're used to moving through life quite quickly. But actually in Pilates, the slower that we move, the more control it takes and the harder we're going to feel our bodies work. So actually slowing yourself down generally makes things more difficult. So that's something else you could try as well. Slow down the same exercise and see if that provides you with a bit more challenge. That might be just the only thing that you need to change right now. Other things to think about are to give yourself a couple of weeks to kind of make this personal assessment, because our energy levels will fluctuate through life. Some weeks we feel bags full of energy, other weeks we've had a really tough week with work or things at home and we just come to the class with not quite as much to give. So we can't really make a snap decision over one session as to whether or not we need to change levels. We need to kind of give ourselves a little bit of time to assess how it's going there. But the other thing we can do is of course consult the instructor whose class or classes that we're attending. So it's worth having a conversation with them. They'll probably have already picked up on the fact that you're maybe a stronger member of the class, you're working at a particular level there, and you can have a chat with them and ask them to just pay you some particular attention in the next couple of sessions just to really look at your technique. Again, if your technique isn't quite right, your body will naturally take shortcuts and find the easy route. So we have to make sure the technique is correct so that you're actually taking the harder route and getting the most out of the exercise. So have a chat with them. They'll be able to just keep that closer eye on you, make sure your technique is really spot on. Again, that may be the only thing that needs to change right now. What your instructor can also do is offer you some progression, so make things slightly more difficult for you. It might be as simple as taking a hand off the ground or raising a limb to a slightly different height, and that will also give them a good idea of where you're at, and then collectively you can make a decision about whether you just need to start operating at a different option within that same class, or maybe it's time for you to move into a slightly more challenging class as well. So you can get that external advice from your instructors, and I'd always advise having that communication with them. But I also really advocate trying to sort of listen to your body and develop that skill of knowing for yourself whether or not you are working at the right level or not. So I hope that's really helped you to think about what level you're currently working at, think about any little tweaks or changes you might be able to make for yourself, consider having a chat with your instructor, and even consider trying some of our different classes. We obviously offer unlimited access to all of our classes with our members. You get to attend different types of classes. Some of them are more athletic and flowing, some are more relaxing and restorative, and you may find that you just need to switch the style of class that you're working at. that. It may also be an instructor issue. We all have our preferences as to how certain instructors work. That's absolutely natural. And it may be that you would be more suited to a class led by a different instructor. So what I would say is have a little bit of fun over the next few weeks. If you're thinking about what level you're at, do consult your instructor, but maybe try some different classes, try some different instructors, become a little bit more aware of your body and how it's moving. And of course, you can always reach out to me personally and reach out to us as a team, and we'll always come back to you and give you some advice there. But I hope that's helped you, and I hope you're going to have fun over the next few weeks, and you're obviously on the cusp of taking your practice to the next level, which is fantastic.